Welcome to a new season at Central Park. Today's game, Wigan against Barrow, the first round of the Greenall's Lancashire Cup. One of the few trophies that eluded Wigan last season, what was a memorable season for all Wigan supporters and players alike. Barrow, relegated from the First Division last year, now in the Second Division. They've got a new coach in Steve Norton. A lot of aspirations this year for them, but it should be Wigan into the second round. The Wigan team strengthened from last week's game against Widnes, with Steve Hampson coming in at fullback. Frano Bodica goes out on the right wing, with Dean Bell and Joe Lydon in the centre. Mark Preston in his usual position as left wing. And the old firm of Sean Edwards and Andy Gregory at half-back. Andy Goodway steps in at number 8 for the injured Kelvin Skerrett. Martin Dermott comes back in the hooker's role at 9. Andy Platt still there at 10. Dennis Betts and Ian Gildard, a strong second-row pairing, with Mike Forshaw at loose forward. Jed Byrne, the ever-faithful, at 14, and Bobby Goulding, the star, at number 15. Referee for today's game, David Campbell, gets the game in motion as Andy Gregory takes the first ball onto Ian Gildard. Good strong run from him. We're going to see, I think, quite a lot of enthusiasm from this Barrow side early on, but too much there. David Campbell saying that's delaying the play of the ball, so a free kick just outside the Wigan 22. Joe Lydon, who looks to have recovered from that injury which forced him to join the tour late, and now a shortage of rugby balls apparently, but Frano Bodica handing on to Martin Dermott as Andy Platt makes the drive. Wide ball, Andy Goodway running across field slightly, but enthusiasm from the Barrow loose forward, Neil Shaw. As Edwards changes direction, Hampson in the line, almost getting past Steve Clayton, the number 8. Bottiger getting in the action, now the kick ahead. Was he obstructed there? No, says David Campbell, as the sweeper, Dean Marwood, the scrum half, picks up the ball. Well, Steve Norton is the coach of this Barrow side. Former international loose forward himself. Great playmaker with the Hull side and Castleford. Whether he can impart some of his skill into this Barrow team. Certainly had an awful season last season. And that's good, strong tackling there from Mike Forshaw and Dennis Betts. Dean Marwood kick. Steve Hampson, as ever, taking it secure at the back and gets out of the first tackle. A good strong handoff, gets it past the 22. Preston in the action, any space. That looked a high tackle from Steve Clayton. Preston okay. Goodway trying to offload there, but 3 Barrow forwards driving into the tackle. Gregory steps inside. Beautiful break. He's got links outside and inside. It's Goodway who picks it up. He's probably better on the outside, but again, a bit of genius from the general. Platt driving and linking with Martin Dermott. Good support play from the 2 front row forwards. So Wigan hotting it up. Wide ball from the halfbacks. Gregory decides to go on his own, links back inside to Gildard. Gildard decides to kick. Well, that's fairly easy meat for Alan Moses. Probably the first time I think I've seen Ian Gildard do any kicking. So a lot of talking in defence as Barrow switch the play to the short side. A good movement upwards. Preston and Joe Lydon getting in. Inside ball to Keith Pemberton, the number 10. But Derek Hadley steps in, 1 out, tries to organise the play. Well, some good, strong running from the Barrow forwards, but they're being met by a very stern Wigan defence. Again, that should be an easy one for Steve Hampson. Takes it well. Drifts across field. Trying to find some space. Straightens up. Good play from the fullback. He's had a summer of inactivity, which has meant training for him, but no playing, so he's looking sharp. And there's one who's had a lot of rugby, Dennis Betts. It seems that Barrow just lying a little bit in the tackle. It's good where he takes that second inside ball, flicks it down, Dermot picks it up. Bit of scrappy play, but Wigan still in possession as Gildart straightens it up, almost gets through the gap. So Wigan having a lot of possession, but the Barrow defence just hanging on. Dean Bell, first action. Oh, what a break from Dean Bell. Superb! This could be a try for Edwards. That's a beautifully judged kick. Edwards dribbles, picks it up, scores a try. What a superb piece of play from Dean Bell. Dean Bell's first touch of the ball, he drifted past Nigel Simpson, shot down that right wing. And who's supporting inside for that astute kick from Dean Bell, but Shaun Edwards taps it over with his foot, picks it up and scores Wigan's first try. So Frano Botica with a rather unusual style, round the corner but torpedo, but it's straight between the posts. 2 points, 6-0 Wigan lead after just 5 minutes play. Well, Dean Marwood to get the game in motion once more. Well, Ian Gildart seems to be the one who generally runs it out from the back after the kick-off, confronting that first line, but such a rugged performer he is. Dean Bell, quick play the ball, the switch across players. Mike Forshaw, lively, loose forward. Lots of good reports from the Alliance last season from this young player, and some good youngsters in this Wigan setup. Well, Gregory's path was obstructed there on the left-hand side, so had to switch direction. Dennis Betts almost getting through. But again, Barrow lying on, and although there's a certain amount of appealing from the Barrow players, no doubt about David Campbell's decision that they were delaying the play of the ball, and that's a penalty. We want to see the game flowing, and referees, certainly under Fred Lindop's direction, are asked to encourage players to get away. That's another penalty, not infringing on the 10, in fact, moving before the tap was taken. So Steve Hampson's going to put the ball into touch inside the Barrow 22. The sun's shining down here at a marvellous Central Park. Again, another strong drive from Andy Platt. Now the set move on as Gregory takes it one out. The run around and the wide ball. Dean Bell on the ball. Oh, what a try, Dean Bell. A set piece of play, and Dean Bell scores under the post. Well, it was a set move from that second drive. The run around with Ian Gildart, and then the wide ball as Dean Bell took it on the burst, sidestepped inside off that left foot and shot through the gap like a knife through butter and under the post. So once again, Frano Botica with a chance to put 2 points on the board, and he does indeed. So already, after only 8 minutes play, it's 12-0 Wigan lead. The ground has certainly had some major construction work done during the close season. And one thing the groundsman was telling me is about the new drainage system here at Central Park, which hopefully will be very effective. The ground's certainly looking in immaculate condition at the moment. Well, the number 8, Steve Clayton, coming over the top with that haymaker. Not quite connecting. Denny Betts hit it up, one out. So 3 set moves there from the close play of the ball. Another one as Edwards goes on the dummy. Dermot sells another dummy and links. Great ball inside to Mike Forshaw, striding away as a loose forward. Edwards is inside. That was intercepted though. Bodiger gets a chance, his first touch of the ball. A good play again there as Martin Dermot broke through. But Bodiger is slightly injured, I think, in that tackle, and Dean Bell having a word with the referee, and the referee David Campbell indicating that Bodiger was trying to have a face improvement, I think, by one of the Barrow players. Drive 2 out. Platt takes. Now there's a big blind side on that right hand side. Will Wigan change it as the move comes to the left? Edwards feeds Bell. Bell, another dummy. He's having a magic game so far, Dean Bell. Barrow just can't keep hold of him. Preston can't get away though this time. So Gregory and Edwards with the run around and the drift across and a wide ball. Lydon to Hampson, but it went down. The chance was there. A little bit of a scuffle off the ball as Joe Lydon put that ball to Steve Hampson in the gap, just a little bit low, but Steve Hampson normally so sure with the handling, but this time the ball went down. Joe Lydon being called across with his opposite number Nigel Simpson, the two centres being spoken to by David Campbell. Certainly as Lydon passed the ball, it was Simpson who seemed to come in and make the tackle, perhaps a little bit late, but everything seems to be okay, and David Campbell quite happy to give the scrummage and the feed to Barrow. Free kick. He's not happy with that front row. I think he wanted them to stay up. So we still haven't had a scrummage. That one certainly wasn't formed. And the free kick to Barrow. Paul Creary, the number 9, linking with Andrew Fletcher. In fact, it's Pat Traynor on the wing. The two wingers have changed over. Number 5 is Traynor. Well, Edwards moving very, very quickly up there. There's an injury, I think, to the second row forward, Steve Morrison. And certainly there was an instant call for the physio. Could be an ankle injury. The two half-backs in trying to get it wide. It's well picked up by Nigel Simpson. Big, strong centre, but Mike Forshaw takes him well with Joe Lydon. Well, Alan Moses running straight into Dennis Betts, not the most sensible of things. As Marwood tries to change direction, but no way forward. As Wigan move up both sides of the play the ball. Now the ball's gone wide. And they're out in the centre position is number 8, Steve Clayton. Good tackle from Ian Gildart. Offside. David Campbell. The two defenders at the play the ball not in line. And for the moment, Barrow, I think, reduced to 12 men. Referees stopped the clock, but that's the sad side of Steve Morrison coming off the field. Looks to have injured that ankle. So it'll be either Steve Rowan or Steve Jackson coming on as substitute. And it's Steve Rowan, in fact, number 14, who's coming onto the field. Marwood with the kick to touch, just on the Wigan 22. So it's the first time Barrow have had possession anywhere close to this Wigan line. And we've had almost a quarter of an hour's play here at Central Park. Good, large holiday atmosphere crowd here, and so far been treated to a carnival type game, with Wigan producing some sparkling rugby in this first session. Wide ball to Neil Shaw, and good play on this right wing, but good cover there for as Andrew Fletcher tries to come back inside. Two in the red jerseys. Edwards had covered well along with Lydon and Hampson. Barrow move it wide. Marwood with the dummy. And no dummy is fielding Martin Dermott. Again, Barrow swinging it wide through Derek Hadley. And the big number 8 again, running into tackles. Referee's whistle has gone. And a little bit of hanky-panky on the 4, apparently. Andy Gregory apparently rubbing his elbow into Steve Clayton's face. And I think possibly using his tongue again. So as Andy Gregory walks slowly back towards the line, it looks as if he may well have conceded 2 points here as Barrow go for the kick at goal. So youngster from half Dean Marwood lines it up, kicks it over, 2 points, Barrow on the score sheet. As Wigan settle down, Joe Lydon kicks off, kicks deep to the goal line. It's that end where all the major work's going to be done to the new clubhouse and changing rooms, and of course a new stand. That's going to take some time. It'll be at least into the new year before it's completed. Possession rob, Dean Bell on the right, links inside with Forshaw. So Wigan on the attack again, 12-2 in the lead. Edwards flings the wide ball to Gregory. Gregory looking for space, finds the gap for Dennis Betts. Lydon knocks it on. Almost a certain try there, but the pass from Dennis Betts just going behind Joe Lydon, attempting to bring it back. He knocked it forward, and Barrow breathed a sigh of relief and gained possession just 5 metres away from their own line. But they've lost the ball, but it's gone backwards, so play on. Well, Barrow certainly looking very much like a second division outfit at the moment. Their organisation seems to be quite good, but there certainly is a lack of pace and a lack of flair. As Hampson steps inside. But his opposite number, Alan Moses, brought off a fine tackle then. As Hampson was looking for the link on the outside. Held the ball fairly low. Was thinking of passing, and as he thought, the tackle came in and knocked the ball out of his hands. Andrew Goodway had such an outstanding season last season, stepping in at number 8 for Calvin Skerritt, who's got a slight groin strain. A Barrow just outside their 22 as loose forward Neil Shaw tries to link. But that, and apparently, it's too high a tackle. David Campbell says to Dennis Betts. Big centre Nigel Simpson seems to be okay, but too high. And I hope this is a fairly consistent attitude we'll see this season from referees, because head-high tackling is certainly one thing that we don't want to see. That was around the neck, but perhaps that's too high anyway. So a few mistakes creeping in the last few minutes, which have perhaps spoilt the pattern of play. Wigan very much on top and perhaps just relaxing slightly. Dummy from Paul Creary, but really not making any ground. Barrow really yet to make a break against this strong, resolute Wigan defence. It was their strength in depth last year in their organisation, which won them a lot, as Botica, who's the newcomer, steps in, links with Bell. Bell almost getting through. So Farrell Botica showing a little bit of skill there on that right wing. Forshaw on the burst. Great run for the loose forward. Took that ball well. Now, can Wigan add the killer touch now? Quick slip as Goodway takes that ball from behind the back onto Gillard. No, a little bit too adventurous there. So too many mistakes creeping into the game. And Barrow will feed the scrimmage. Scrum half Dean Marwood. Certainly Martin Dermott stretching a long way there, but couldn't quite get that strike against the head. Andy Platt getting into the tackling action there. And certainly Gary Kendall felt that. It's a penalty to Wigan there. That was obstruction at the play of the ball. Lydon with the kick to touch. That obstruction at the play of the ball by Barrow. So Wigan set move. Betts takes it up, almost scores himself. Good tackle from the hooker Paul Creary. So one drive. Gregory feeding Gildart, the run around. But Barrow cut it off. There's still chance for Bell though. Pat Traynor flew in from that wing, but Bell was strong enough to get away. Bodiger steps inside. Oh, acceleration from Frano Bodiger. That's pleased the crowd. They want to see what this New Zealander can do. And there's just a glimpse of some very clever play from the right wing. Gregory dummying and linking wide. Well, that's been knocked on and picked up by Andrew Fletcher from the right wing. So again, things just not quite hitting it off. The set moves have been tried and the gap's certainly there, but one or two handling errors have upset the rhythm. Well, Steve Rowan getting almost through there, but Dean Bell just closing that gap. Last tackle now as Barrow kick through the scrum half. Dean Marwood. Hampson takes again. Bodiger's with him. But Hampson goes on his own. Bodiger's obstructed, so Hampson has to come back inside. And the touch judge saw it. Crowd pleased with the play of Steve Hampson. But as Frano Bodiger tried to link with the fullback, he was obstructed by his opposite number, Pat Traynor, so he couldn't quite support. In fact, he's been sin-binned for the obstruction. So Barrow reduced to 12 men as Pat Traynor comes sadly off the field. So a strong decision from David Campbell. And a sin-bin offence there. As Wigan now set it up again. It always seems they can score at will as long as that final pass is secure. Well, it wasn't the final pass, but it was only the second one, and that was forward, says David Campbell. So again, things just not quite clicking for Wigan as one or two unforced errors creep into their play. It's a good drive in the scrimmage, but it's a free kick. It's a feeding offence, and last season we were treated to some superb feeding of scrimmages. The ball almost seemingly at will to be put in the second row, but this year the ball definitely got to go to the hooker's foot, and on that occasion it certainly wasn't. Well, David Campbell, who's already spoken to the two centres, is now speaking to the two number 10s, Keith Pemberton from Barrow and Andy Platt. As that scrimmage broke up, there was a little bit of altercation, but Andy Platt, I think, quite happy about the whole situation. So is Keith Pemberton, so no harm done. And another penalty to Wigan. As Martin Dermott slowly prepares for this tap penalty. In Gildart, no forward pass this time, makes the drive, almost gets past one tackle, that of Steve Rowan. Again, the play comes left, the run around and the switch inside. Well, well spotted, good defence there from Barrow. So the options now is, again, the half-backs link, the dummy and then the run around. So a dummy run around followed by a run around. But still Barrow hold on. Goodway decides to take it flat and close to the play of the ball. And links well with Dermot. Good take from Dermot. Preston on his own. Can he get past? No. We've seen little of Mark Preston so far. As Wigan move the ball wide, there's a gap on this side. Edwards decides to link with Greggy. Greggy to Bell. Bell accelerating. Boddicker inside. Great piece of play to Forshaw. Superb skill from Wigan. Particular Boddicker, and Mike Forshaw goes over for Wigan's third try. It was Gregory who decided to open the play wide out. Superb long pass to Dean Bell, and Dean Bell linking well with his fellow countryman, and Boddicker showing superb skill, and Mike Forshaw over in that right-hand corner. So Frano Boddicker with his most difficult kick so far, and the ball leaning slightly forward, a slightly unusual kicking routine, but successful so far. He's kicked that one well, he struck it well, it's between the posts. The crowd giving Boddicker a warm round of applause there. 2 more points, and Wigan are leading by 18 points to 2. So can Barrow muster up some more enthusiasm for this game? It's been a bit of an honest endeavour, but no real class, and it's very much one-way traffic at the moment. The dummy from Dermot as Betts goes on his own, forces people off. It's Paul Creary, bites the dust. Dummy inside, and Platt's hit the gap. He's got support on his left. Edwards is there. Beautiful play. Sean Edwards strides over. A try within a minute. It was a set piece of play at the play of the ball, and Andy Platt hitting that gap as the Barrow defence was exposed, accelerating through and linking on his left was Sean Edwards. Beautifully timed pass from the international forward, and Edwards in full flow. Nobody stopping him. Boddicker lines it up, kicks it again, 100% record, 24-2, and we've had almost a half hour's play in this Lancashire Cup game. Bobby Goulding comes onto the field 10 minutes before half-time, replacing Martin Dermot. Jed Byrne also comes on. So it looks like Jed Byrne's come on as loose forward for Mike Forshaw. And coach John Money working a few changes here, giving his substitutes a fair amount of the game, and that was certainly a heavy involvement last year as Andy Platt, the maker of that last try, juggles and eventually collects the ball. Jed Byrne, Mr. Utility. Andy Goodway, Mr. Try scorer last season. Superb season from the loose forward who played in the second row, of course, started his career with Oldham in the front row. He's had a bit of a problem with his back as Andrew Goodway, but he's certainly looking okay today. In fact, Jed Byrne has come onto the field in the centre as Gregory makes the break. Goodway is there, links with Bell. Bell's got Preston outside, but he won't need him. And Bell, looking really sharp, goes over for another try for Wigan. It was that man, Andy Gregory, again, finding the gap, linking well with Andrew Goodway. And when it seemed as if Andrew Goodway would link outside, it was Bell coming from the inside who took the pass. Preston was obstructed, but in fact, Dean Bell didn't need him. Strides over for Wigan's 5th try. Well, Frano Boddicker, who was certainly very successful in the sevens with his kicking, has been 100% successful so far. This is quite a difficult kick. on the 22-metre line. Right-footed. Natural swing of the ball. That looks good. Oh, it's hit that left-hand post. So his first miss for Boddicker, but he gets a round of applause for that. So shows you how much the crowd appreciate this new signing from New Zealand. He's having a good game so far. He certainly had more of the ball than Mark Preston on this left wing. And of course, his kicking looks to be very reliable indeed. There's one problem Wigan had last season, was having a succession of goal kickers. Probably used about 8 or 9 goal kickers last year. So with just about 7 minutes left for play in this first half. Goulding on the field for Dermot as a hooker. And of course, such a versatile young man, international, success on the tour. Good way, linking with Preston. Preston not happy for that one. I think he'd preferred Andy Goodway to have kept that one himself. So they're not the sort of situation that Mark Preston revels in. He likes the open spaces. Goodway, linking inside. Dennis Betts picks it up well. Knock on, says the referee. Crowd didn't agree. Dennis Betts, a wry smile on his face. But I think Wigan can afford to smile at the moment. 28-2 in the lead. Just that solitary penalty goal from Dean Marwood. And he's feeding the ball now. Good tackle from Steve Hampson, coming up on his opposite number, Alan Moses. Knock on as Jed Byrne fires in on the tackle. It's Jed Byrne who's replaced Joe Lydon. Well, not Mike Forshaw. And Kevin Spears certainly seems to have felt the effect of that. But the referee has judged that it was too high. And so when Kevin Spears recovers, hopefully, it will be a penalty kick to Barrow. Certainly he's taking some time to recover. In fact, the referee now decides to have a word with Jed Byrne. And Jed Byrne, of course, agreeing most wholeheartedly with the referee. Always a polite, courteous player. To referees, that is. So Barrow, for the second time now, inside the Wigan 22 with possession. Big number 8, Steve Clayton, takes it up. That's one drive. Have Barrow got something organised to upset this Wigan defence? The dummy, and then the knock-on, so that's not really an upset. Dennis Betts, thankfully dropping on the ball. Steve Hampson linking, or trying to break wide out and link, but the gap was there, almost getting through it. Bell, the dummy. Had a fine start this season, of course. Bedeviled by injury at the end of the season before last. That very troublesome groin. Last season came through fairly unscathed. Betts links. And Gregory pounces. Beautiful ball from Andy Gregory there as Dennis Betts hit that gap. Byrne stepping inside and linking and dummying and bouncing out of tackles. He's a roll away. Big number 6, Derek Hadley, brings him down. Goulding finds Gregory. Good link again to Bobby Goulding, so it's Goulding to Gregory, back to Goulding, and Bobby Goulding links with Edwards. And Sean Edwards is going to sail away for another try. Good linking with the trio there. The trio of Goulding, Gregory and Edwards. And it was that linking between the three internationals, Goulding, Gregory, and then finally Edwards. And Edwards finishing off in grand style. Just 3 or 4 minutes before half-time. Boddicker, just 2 or 3 casual paces for the ball straight between the posts. Another 2 points. And Wigan leading by 34 points to 2. D. Marwood sets it going again. Hampson takes and links with Gildart. The big second rower almost getting past Neil Shaw's tackle. Bottiger getting the action. Looks lively, very sharp. Good acceleration. And as we saw earlier, that link with Mike Forshaw for his try. Obviously, still a very skillful player as well. That may well have gone forward, I think. Mike Forshaw trying to get that ball away to Jed Byrne. The ball's gone forward. It was good to see Bottiger getting in the action and looking for a bit of work close to the play of the ball. Barrow won it, but it's come out on the far side. Gregory just unable to pick it up. So the big centre, Nigel Simpson, trying to make a break. And Gregory comes in to finish it off. Marwood trying to link wide, but no real organisation as Keith Pemberton runs onto it. And Derek Hadley not looking over pacey there as he tried to drift past Dean Bell. Marwood with the kick, and certainly a lot of Barrow players offside as Hampson takes well. Superb catch from Steve Hampson, but certainly Steve Clayton at number 8 was miles offside, and that's caused quite a furor there, and we could well see somebody off the field. Superb take from Hampson, but then a quick bout of fisticuffs, it seems, on the ground. Well, Steve Hampson looks okay. Davy Campbell telling the sides to go backwards. Andy Platt explaining what happened. But he's showing Steve Hampson's face to the referee. Andy Gregory went in there, I think, to give a hand. The three officials discussing what's gone on. But certainly there was an incident on the floor as Steve Hampson took that ball under all sorts of pressure from Steve Clayton, who was way offside, must have been 10 metres offside as Marwood put the bomb up. And it's the big number 8, Clayton, who's having to be spoken to by the referee. And he's sending him off. Steve Clayton can't quite believe it, but there's no doubt in Davy Campbell's mind that Steve Clayton must leave the field for deliberately foul play. And as he leaves the field, the referee is speaking to both captains. And obviously his message will be that we want this game calming down. It's been a well-mannered, evenly tempered game up until that point. So, will things settle down? Barrow certainly have a handicap now. The Barrow 12 against Wigan 13. They're leading by 34 points to 2. And the penalty is to Wigan. Steve Hampson has treatment from Keith Mills, a physiotherapist. And the number 7 is being spoken to by fellow Whitneysian David Campbell. Gregory takes the tap. We're way into injury time at the moment. But certainly that incident took up probably a couple of minutes. Andy Platt looking strong, keeping those legs going. Gregory, the kick ahead. Good cover from the second row forward, Gary Kendall, though. Changing tactics. Just not quite coming off. Barrow in possession. Well, Pat Traynor coming in from that left wing, looking for a little bit of work. He was sin-binned earlier on for an obstruction on Bottiger. Back on the field now. Ooh, what a powerful one for number 8, Andy Goodway. That's the hit of the game so far. But slow motion with Derek Hadley. Really not getting his line moving outside. And he's certainly getting up very slowly as well, so things not going Steve Norton's Barrow way. The half-time hooter goes. Wigan fans will be pleased. They've scored 6 tries in this first half. A solitary penalty goal from Barrow, and 34-2 the half-time score. For 40 minutes left for play, the second half gets into motion with Steve Hampson kicking deep. And it looks almost certainty now that Wigan will proceed into the second round. Barrow reduced to 12 men with the sending off of Steve Clayton. And that's certainly going to upset any thoughts they have. That was a rather vicious blow on Bobby Goulding. Gary Kendall, the second row forward, seemed to strike Goulding as he ran forward. He's certainly in a certain amount of pain. The Barrow in possession. It certainly wasn't a handoff. It looked like a deliberate elbow or forearm. So the kick from Neil Shaw. Play goes on. And that's gone into touch. So it's going to be a scrum down. And a long way away from here, we've got an injury to Bobby Goulding, who's acting as hooker. Well, there is the sad sight of Bobby Goulding, not looking too well as Keith Mills attends to him. But while he's being treated, play goes on. There's an infringement in the scrimmage, and Barrow not forming up properly. So it's going to be a free kick to Wigan. Steve Hampson places the ball deliberately into touch. Andy Platt takes the drive. Both teams apparently down to 12 men at the moment. Andy Platt not happy about that decision, certainly. Referee said it went forward. And it's Bobby Goulding who was playing scrum half, so that means Andy Gregory on the subs bench at the moment. Edwards has gone to 7. Forshaw linked out at 6. Tries to get Bottiger away. Dennis Betts accelerating away. Big, strong international second row forward. Edwards throws wide to Bell. Hampson steps in and steps away. Tries to stay on his feet. Quick play the ball. Byrne shimmying and trying to get to that 22. Big shout as you see Bobby Goulding being led off the field by Keith Mills on the far side. Offside at the play the ball, so a chance pass for 2 points. Sean Edwards indicates that that's what's going to happen. Keith Mills is leading Bobby Goulding, I think, off the field. Quite sure of what the signal was there. It looks as if Bobby Goulding's going straight to the changing rooms. Keith Mills talking to him. He seems to be walking all right. He's obviously conversing now, but there may be some injury which we're not so sure about. But certainly it's bad enough for Keith Mills to bring the young scrum half off the field. Edwards just have a quick word with him. Back to the play itself, and it's Fano Botica lining up this fairly straightforward kick just outside the 22. Very little breeze here today. It's a beautiful day. Good day for goal kicking. Bodiger lines it up, right-footed. He's hit that post again, so he's hit the post twice. Mark Preston getting into the tackling with Jed Byrne. And the loud noise there because it was the second row forward, Gary Kendall, who seemed to inflict that injury on Bobby Gouldy. Good defence from Dean Bell, going in low. Copybook tackle from the New Zealand centre. Marwood trying to dummy, but no hole, no gap. Good, strong Wigan defence. And again, Martin Dermott showing his speed off the mark and good defensive qualities as Marwood punches it downfield. Now, is there any room for Steve Hampson and Mark Preston? Botica links well. Beautiful play from him. What timing! A superb play. Edwards' hat-trick under the post. That was brilliant linking between Steve Hampson and Fano Botica. The timing of the run from Botica as he hit the gap. Great pass from Hampson, and then, as ever, Shaun Edwards in support. And that is Shaun Edwards' third try. Botica lines it up, kicks it over. 2 more points. Wigan have hit the 40 mark. Joe Lydon then comes on for Bobby Goulding, who's got a bang to the head, so all precautions being taken. It's Joe Lydon back in play as Barrow kick off once more. Hampson takes well, decides not to use Ian Gildart, takes it on himself. Fullback having a good, safe game at the back. Good hands as ever. And that linking with Botica just a moment ago between Steve Hampson. An excellent piece of rugby from the back three, the 2 wings and the fullback. Well, Martin Dermott trying to get to his feet, and certainly David Campbell has been very quick to act on these situations. Lydon kicks for touch. It'll be interesting to see what makeup Wigan have here now, whether Jed Byrne goes to 6. It looks as if Jed Byrne is stepping in at 6, so the utility man finding another position. Former Salford centre, of course, but since he's been at Wigan, he's played in every back position and at loose forward. Andy Platt has lost possession, but it's gone backwards. Edwards picks it up. Can he get 4 when he's linked with Gildart? Ian Gildart sidestepping inside. The big second row forward recovered the situation well. Edwards uses the short side, puts Andy Platt in the gap. Platt driving and linking. Oh, Preston dropped it. It seemed almost that Andy Platt could have crawled over himself there. Decided to get the pass out. It was a little bit low. Mark Preston knocks the ball on. He was disappointed. He's not had many running opportunities in this game. And there was a chance to get on the score sheet. Well, Barrow winning possession at the back of that scrum, but they're 5 metres from their own line and in desperate states at the moment. 40 points to 2 down. Penalty to Barrow, and Jed Byrne being spoken to, and he's been sin-binned. He's having a chat with the referee. That's not going to do any real good, but Jed Byrne goes to the sin-bin for that offencer to play the ball. Certainly David Campbell has had his hands full a little bit. The game then played as a 12-a-side game now, certainly for the next 10 minutes, as Jedburn serves his suspension. Barrow in there forward, Gary Kendall. And Dennis Betts piling in there as Mike Forshaw gave a hand also with Steve Rowan biting the dust. Good linking inside, the ball's gone down, but it's picked up by Alan Moses, the fullback. Well, Dean Marwood sold the gap and sold the dummy and almost went through the gap. Well, that kick bounced well and almost in touch as Preston picks up and gets away. Now, can we see something of that elusive running of Preston? Links well with Boddicker. Great play. The two wingers, superb play from Wigan. Lydon's on the outside. And Lydon has dropped it. He's kicked it on with his knee, though. But it bounces into touch. So once again, we've seen some superb play from the back. This time it was the two wings linking together. Mark Preston and Frano Boddicker. And the end result, the Barrow defence bursted through. And a chance for Joe Lydon, which couldn't quite take. Free kick to Wigan. Edwards takes it quickly. Dermot in the line. Hampson in the line. Lydon has to take the tackle. Gets away well. Edwards accelerating. Sees the gap. Tries to put Preston in it. Preston accelerates. But Barrow have covered well. Again, a bit of lying on as Boddicker hands it on to Edwards. Dean Bell sidestepping inside. Dermot the dummy, and Dermot the try. Martin Dermot for Wigan. Barrow had been stretched on that far side with great play from Edwards particularly. And then from the play of the ball, Martin Dermot spotted the opportunity. Quick dummy, quick acceleration. And Martin Dermot looking strong. Goes over for Wigan's second try of this second half. So Frano Boddicker trying not to hit a post this time, I'm sure. He's kicked it well. 46-2, Wigan lead. Well, Dean Marwood having plenty of practice at kicking off, and he finds Steve Hampson once again. This time Ian Gildart is used, dives through the gap, makes an extra yard. Good play from the second row. Well, Martin Dermot really looking sharp, accelerated away there from the play of the ball. Very quickly indeed. Wants to get under his feet, but they won't let him. Andy Goodway. Links well, good ball from him. Dean Bell. Great ball to Lydon. Good linking with Forshaw. This is great Wigan play. Has Boddicker got the legs? Will the ball bounce in? The ball beats him. But a great piece of play from Wigan. Superb support play. Good hands, good linking, and straight running. And Boddicker, the man who just couldn't quite get to that ball. Well, there's another sin bin offence for Barrow. So David Campbell has been using the yellow card quite a lot in this game. And the free kick to Wigan. Edwards calling the tune. Not 10, I think, as David Campbell says. He should be back. In fact, they moved the same time as Andy Platt moved, and not when the ball had been played by Martin Dermot. Quick tap. Dermot goes. Oh, outrageous dummy. A smiling Dermot. Can't quite believe his own eyes. His second try. Wigan's 9th. Well, the set move was there, but Dermot, quick as ever, didn't need it. Big dummy, went on his own. Great try. Botica from the right-hand side then. He's kicked that one. That's a super kick. He's kicked 8 goals. He's hit the post twice. He's really the answer, I think, to Wigan's problems as a goal kicker. Marwood once more. This time a slight change. The short kick. It's no good. It still goes to Wigan. And it's Andy Platt looking hungry for work. That knee seems to be okay. And again, perhaps all Wigan can hope to do, just hang on. In fact, all Barrow can hope to do is just hang on and try and delay this Wigan machine. They've hit the 50 mark, 52-2 in the lead. As Joe Lydon finds touch on the right-hand side. A chance once more to set up a Wigan set move. Platt, the drive. Good strong running from him. He's looking back in international form, is Andy Platt. And I'm sure looking forward to the Australians. Edwards floored then as he kicked through, and it's gone dead. And it's a dropout, in fact, so no penalty given. So Sean Edwards trying his own variation there. Touch judges on the field and telling David Campbell that there was an offence. Certainly the referee was in a good position himself. He's decided to call in the offender, which in fact is Alan Moses, the fullback. And it looks as if Alan Moses is going to be sent to the sin bin as well. So certainly Barrow not in Mr. Campbell's good books today. They're now down to 10 men, with Steve Clayton off the field for good and 2 in the sin bin. Wigan back at full strength as Jed Byrne comes on the field, having served his 10 minutes suspension. The game reduced to a little bit of a farce here at the moment, as Wigan pile on the pressure. They've been piling on the points. Now the set move. Last time it was a Dermot dummy. This time it's a dummy and a switch to Platt. Good defence from Barrow. Betts takes the drive, tries to go on his own, rolls over, he's strong, he scored. Try to Dennis Betts. It was a dummy from Dermot and the link to Platt on the blind side, and from that next play of the ball, Dennis Betts just taking that short drive, held off the Barrow defenders and forced his way over. Botica lines it up on the 22, just 10 metres in from touch. He's kicked that one. He's hit the right-hand post this time. Well, that's precision kicking for you. Well, with that conversion just hitting the right-hand post, Botica has now kicked all the goals or hit the post. And that's certainly some precision kicking from this New Zealander. Byrne comes in from the right wing, pushes off and links again with Botica. Good hands. Bell on to Preston. Preston accelerating away. A lot of blue jerseys there. Good cover from Barrow. But there's plenty of gaps over on this far side of the field. So the Barrow 10 really just offering token resistance at the moment as Bottiger links with Lydon. Lydon straightens up. Bell's in the gap. Forshaw's on the inside. It goes to Edwards. This could be Edwards' 4. No, it's not. Great cover tackle from Pat Traynor. Wigan should score. As Goodway flings the long ball. Bottiger takes it. Bottiger goes in. Frano Bottiger has scored, much to the delight of this Wigan crowd, in the right-hand corner. It looked almost certain that Sean Edwards was going to score, but a great cover tackle from Pat Traynor brought him down just by the post. Ball moved wide from Andy Goodway. Bottiger took it well, and he went over for his first try. So with Bottiger slightly injured as he went over for that try, Joe Lydon took the kick but just failed. And Barrow really now with quarter of an hour left for play. It's a question of how many it's going to be. 60 points to 2, Wigan in the lead as Andy Goodway drives it away towards the 10-metre line. Edwards with the face pass, missing Gilder down and trying to put Forshaw through the gap. And Mike Forshaw, good, strong, young, loose forward. Dermot to Platt. Platt taking it aggressively forward. Edwards with the kick downfield towards that corner. It could well stay in field. That's a good kick from Edwards. Neil Shaw, the loose forward, picks it out. Bell fires in with Jed Byrne. Certainly felt that tackle. Barrow back to 12 players now. In fact, back to 11. They've still got one under the 10-minute sin bin. Well, Jed Byrne fired in then, but let go at the same time. Steve Hampson comes across. Now, what can they conjure up from the back this time? Preston in the gap. Preston running. Links with Edwards. Edwards has to come back inside, though. Well, almost a try again from that kick from Barrow, so certainly Wigan creating things from the back as the ball's been kicked to them. Betts kicks it through. Bit of football from the former Manchester United trialist. But Barrow pick it up. So with just 12 minutes left for play in this Greenall's Lancashire Cup first round. It's Barrow in possession, but really not doing anything. The ball's been lost. Edwards drifts across field, trying to find the gap. Forshaw hits it and links back with Bell. Inside to Jed Byrne. Bit too elaborate though. Ball's gone astray. Good strong running from Keith Pemberton. Probably the best bit of Barrow play we've seen. The number 10 showing a bit of pace as he hit that gap. Generous applause from the Wigan crowd. Not so much generous there towards Gary Kendall. He's certainly the villain of the piece as far as the Wiggins are concerned. Could well have gone forward, but it's certainly gone into touch. So Barrow trying desperately to conjure up something to take back to the Lake District with them. The only thing they've got so far is that penalty goal. So Steve Jackson coming onto the field there for Barrow. As Edwards drifts across, Forshaw's at 6. The link with Byrne. Preston in space. In and out. Accelerating away. Good cover from the loose forward, Steve Rowan. So eventually we've got some ball to Mark Preston, and he's showing a bit of pace out there. But Barrow covered really well then. Lydon linking with Platt. Good play. Mike Forshaw inside to Hampson. Change of direction from Steve Hampson. He's got strength and ability and a try. That was great Wigan play as the ball was moved around from almost a halfway line. It eventually finished up with Steve Hampson taking the final pass. And a good bit of play from the fullback there, but it certainly needed scoring at the end. Dean Marwood again. Has it gone 10? Yes? No. Well, that was pretty close. But it obviously didn't go 10. It's a penalty to Wigan. Martin Dermott waiting for the ball to see whether he's going to roll. It seemed to roll and hit that line. But not according to David Campbell. So Lydon finds a good touch on this right-hand side. Set move, Platt on the drive. He's looked aggressive and strong at number 10. Wide ball from Dermott as Dennis Betts dummies, links. That's way forward though. A walk in for Andy Goodway possibly, but forward pass. Well, it's certainly the cricket season weather and a cricket score here at Central Park. 64-2, Wigan leading at the moment. Bit of enterprise. His trainer steps inside Goodway. This could be a try for Barrow. Trainer's striding away and beats Hampson. That's good linking. Lydon covers back. Good piece of play from Barrow. And certainly a big overlap on the right-hand side. Still keeping going, Barrow with their number 6, the big Derek Hadley. Too many red jerseys though, eventually have got back there. Bit of relaxation on Wigan's part and Barrow came back strongly. They'll take heart from that. Kick through, but Forshaw back there, covering well. And that's kicked dead, so that's going to be a tap from the 22. So a little bit of enterprise, pushing Wigan backwards to their own 22. But a needless bit of play by loose forward Neil Shaw there as he kicked the ball away. Dean Bell driving it out. Almost playing like a number 10, Dean Bell. Dermott dummying and going and linking. Good play. It's Wigan at their best. They're moving fluently and quickly. Steve Hampson stepping in and acting halfback. Andrew Goodway linking with Mike Forshaw. Just inside the Barrow 22. And Sean Edwards, one out, calling the set move. But nothing seemed to happen then as Preston comes inside, tries to find some space. So on the last tackle, Edwards with the kick and Hampson's going for it. But didn't quite make it. Well taken by his opposite number. Alan Moses. Without a set move there for Wigan as Edwards put up the kick. And Steve Hampson, of course, one of the best jumpers in the game. Certainly outjumps most people. Several inches taller than himself. Five minutes left, and Barrow back inside their own 22. That's where most of the play's been this afternoon. As the ball bounces into touch. So the scrummage formed, Edwards feeds it. That's a good, clean strike. Forshaw dummies and then passes inside to Bell. Bell lets it go. Hadley accepts it gleefully, links inside to the loose forward. Neil Shaw. And Barrow in possession, just outside Wigan's 22. Bit of a slip there. As Nigel Simpson drives through, the big centre's going to score. Well, that's some consolation for Barrow. It came from that interception from Derek Hadley as Dean Bell missed that inside ball from Mike Forshaw. The gap opened up on the right, and big Nigel Simpson, the centre for Barrow, strides through and scores a consolation try for Barrow. Chances to kick for the middle, and he's kicked that one as well. So Joe Lydon kicking off. With just 2 minutes left for play. And Pat Traynor, the Barrow left wing. Try scorer Nigel Simpson. Big, powerful centre. So as the Wigan crowd just drift away towards the end of this game, they'll be quite pleased with this performance after the disappointment against Widnes last week. Bit of a carnival atmosphere here today, and Wigan have provided the entertainment. Certainly 12 tries is entertainment enough. But Barrow looking very much a second division outfit today. Steve Hampson drifts inside Hadley, and Hadley makes the tackle. As Martin Dermott looks for the call, Edwards it is who sets it up. Andy Platt coming on the overlap on the outside from behind the ball receiver. Dermott changes direction. That was almost, in fact, it wasn't almost, it was a late tackle and a penalty to Wigan. So chance to set up another move and practice some of the set moves that John Mooney has put into operation with this Wigan team. Lydon will kick for touch. The announcement of the Wigan man of the match is Dean Bell. Certainly in that first half we saw a lot of the New Zealand's flair and ability. Not had as much ball in the second half as Platt drives for the line, just 5 metres short. But Wigan have split their forces. Edwards tries to find the runners. He finds Goodway. Now a bit of impromptu stuff as Wigan keep the ball alive. Burn dummies, but Barrow defending well at the moment. Gildart drives close to the play of the ball. Just 5 metres from that Barrow line. And 4 tackles gone. Good linking there, quick hands Goodway in the clear. Andrew Goodway opens his try-scoring account. That could well be Wigan's last. We're well into injury time. There's that link between the halfbacks, the run around. Superb piece of play between Edwards and Byrne. And then Goodway in the gap and scoring his first try. Lydon adds the points, gets a big cheer, and we're going to hit the 70 mark. 70 points to 8. Well into injury time. Hopefully for the last time as far as Barrow concerned, Dean Marwood gets the game going once again. Gildard running as ever. Dermot linking and looking as ever. And Andy Platt playing like a centre, trying to put Hampson away down this right wing. The hooter goes. Wigan have beaten Barrow by 70 points to 8 and go through to the second round of the Lancashire Cup. Well, after the game here, we've got Frano Botica, who's a much travelled person, but Frano, welcome to Wigan. You've played a lot of rugby yourself, of course, rugby union. What do you think about the difference between the sort of league setup and the union setup as far as you're concerned?
Well, it's probably a lot faster than union, and it's probably suits the way I play a lot better. So at the moment I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the coming games.
You played on the wing today. Most of your rugby union has been in either centre or number 6 or stand-off half. What about your position as far as Wigan are concerned?
Well, it doesn't matter where I play really. It's going to be very difficult to break in. Playing on the wing today gave me more experience in a different position. I'm still learning a lot, and I'd like to learn as much as I can, as quickly as I can. So the more games I get, the better I'm going to get. And as I say, it's going to be difficult breaking in anywhere in this team.
There's obviously a lot of competition for places, as you say, but you played on the wing. There were times today when you came inside quite a lot looking for work. Was that because you get a bit bored on the wing, or you just want to be in the action?
Oh, I just want to be in the action, get in around the ball, and just look for work. If it's not coming my way, then I've got to go and look for it.
A lot of things we noticed about your play today was certainly when you came into the line and your linking was your angle of your running. Is that something that you think is very important as far as the three quarters are concerned, the angle in which the way you come into the line when you're making the breaks?
Oh, I think so. I mean, it's for any player. It depends on the angle, and it depends on the defence in front of you as to which angle you take, I suppose, yeah. And
as far as Wigan's concerned, you've been made very welcome here, have you? And your family's all settled in?
Yeah, very welcome. Too welcome at times with a few guys out at a few bars. It's been great. They've made me feel at home and feel a part of Wigan.
And your wife and children?
They're loving it, playing netball, and my little girl's at school now, so she's enjoying it.
Of course, there's quite a New Zealand connection here with Kevin Arrow and Dean Barrow, and of course Graham West, who came here back in '82. So you've got a few people here with...
There's a lot of Kiwis around, so it's like being back at home, I suppose, yeah.
Well, you've had a good start. What about the goal kicking? That was certainly been a problem as far as we're concerned in the past. And you kicked well today. You hit the post. Was it twice or 3 times?
3 times, actually. Yeah, I've been practising. I mean, if it comes down to the nitty-gritty where there's 2 players who are exactly the same, then maybe the goal kicking will help me as well. So I've got to keep that up.
So you're determined to keep your first team place here at Wigan?
I'm going to try my best anyway, yeah.